With a huge 33,000 mAh battery, a 1200 lumen camping light, and a built-in 100 lumen projector, the Oukitel WP100 Titan is certainly a very different smartphone, so hit subscribe now and we'll check out what this thing can do. So full disclosure before we get started though, the video is sponsored by Oukitel and they've sent me the WP100 Titan to showcase to you guys. So from the minute you pick this up, you can see it's a big phone, and of course that's mainly down to the built-in projector, which we'll cover in more detail shortly, and the massive battery. Now the phone weighs in at 873 grams and it's by far the heaviest phone that I've ever featured on this channel. And it also comes with plenty of protection, as you can see here. We've got bumpers on each corner, and they're also raised around the front and the rear, which protects both the display and the camera lenses. And to be fair, if you throw this, I don't think you've got any worries about it breaking, and it's more than likely gonna break whatever it lands on. Now we've also got IP68 and IP69K ratings with shock resistance up to 1.5 meters, so even if you drop this underwater, you're gonna be fine. Now on the front, we've got a 6.8-inch 120Hz display with a resolution of 1080 by 2460, and the screen is fast and responsive, as you can see here. And then it also comes with a pre-applied screen protector, but personally I just prefer phones without the screen protectors, so I took it straight off. And then you can see at the top center, we've got a 32 megapixel punch hole camera. Now on the top, we've got a lens for the projector, and again, you can see the body is raised above this lens to add protection for it if it ever falls, but we'll go into more details on the projector shortly. Now on the rear, we've got a 200 megapixel primary camera, a 2 megapixel macro camera, and a 20 megapixel night vision camera, so there's plenty of versatility there. And you can also see this huge 1200 lumen camping light to help you see in the dark. Now on the right hand side, we've got a cooling vent and the power button. On the bottom, it's a USB-C port with a rubber protection flap. And then over on the other side, we've got two buttons which adjust the focus of the projector. We've got the volume buttons, and then this is the first time I've seen it, but it's actually a SIM tray, and I can pull it out with my finger and I don't need a pin. Now the phone is powered by MediaTek's Dimensity 7300, and it comes with 16GB of RAM and 512GB of storage, and for those of you that need it, you can also expand the RAM in the settings to a total of 48GB, but this just uses storage and I would personally advise against it unless you really do need more than 16GB of RAM. Now for anyone that wants to do some gaming, of course, you can game for hours on end with this battery, and to be fair, the bulkier design is actually really nice to hold while doing so, and the 120Hz display just makes for a great experience. The Dimensity 7300 isn't the most powerful chip, but it's still a perfectly capable chipset. And with Call of Duty Mobile, I've got the graphics set to high with the frame rate set to high as well, and realistic graphics settings, and you can see here it performs great. We've got smooth gameplay with great graphics. Now for those of you concerned with synthetic benchmarks, I ran it through Geekbench 6 first, and over here we get 1015 for single core, 3202 for multi-core. I then headed over to 3D Mark and I ran it through the Still Nomad Lite, where it got a score of 361 and an average frame rate of 2.68. Then over on the Wildlife benchmark, we get a score of 3,290 with an average frame rate of 19.7. Now when it comes to the camera, it's of course a rugged phone, so it's not really aimed at the photographers, but we still get some great photos for a rugged phone. You can choose the normal shot, which gives you a resolution of 4608 by 2592 in 16:9, or you can also shoot in the 200 megapixel mode, and this gives you an image with a massive resolution of 16320 by 12288. But you can see we get nice color and detail with plenty of details in the highlights and the shadows, and it's actually very true to life, unlike many other camera phones out there at the moment that tend to boost contrast and saturation. And for those taking selfies, we get some good pictures, as you can see here, and these come out at 4896 by 6528. Now of course, we've also got night vision if you ever need pictures or video in the pitch black, and these are the photos that you're going to get from the night vision camera. So now let's take a look at the video. So this is the video from the rear facing camera. I've got it at 4K 30 frames a second. Now there is an option in settings to put it to auto frame rate, but in my testing that brought it to just under 22 frames a second. But I'm just walking forward slowly, so we'll see what the stabilization's like. Now we're going to do slow pan around, quick pan back. Now we'll just do a bit of a jog. And there's a video from the rear facing camera. So as you can see, it's a good video in 4K, but stabilization is not so great, so you do need to be pretty steady with your hand. Now this is a video from the front facing camera. Again, it's 4K, 30 frames a second. No idea who that was. But if we just do a slow pan around. And then again, get ready to do a jog. And that's the video from the front facing camera. Now again, when it comes to the front facing camera, we get some great video, but the stabilization isn't the best, but you can see that I held my hand much steadier this time when using the front facing camera. And we can also take videos with the night vision camera, and this is going to give you this quality here. Now powering the phone is a monstrous 33,000 mAh battery, and normally I'd be saying it easily lasts me the day, but this one easily lasts me the week. Now on top of that, we've got 66 watt fast charging, as well as 18 watt reverse wireless charging with a wire, so it also doubles up as a pretty big power bank. Now the main reason for such a large battery though is of course because of this built-in projector, and this is the first time I've ever seen a projector on a phone. Now when you start it up, you're going to hear the fans going off, but then after 10 to 20 seconds that stops, and you can see it gives you your real-time display on the projector. Now if you put any media on the phone into full screen, then the projector is automatically going to give you this nice widescreen display, and then you can adjust the focus with the two buttons on the side. It delivers 100 lumens, so it's actually much better in the dark than it is in the day, but it's very impressive that this has been squeezed into a smartphone, and especially if you're doing something like you're out camping, you can just whip it out and start playing a film. Also, if you're lacking some light when you're outside, then we've got the camera's flash as well as a 1200 lumen light on the back, and this really is helpful out in the dark. It's very bright, so you don't want to be shining it in your eyes, but as you can see here, it's a great light. Now we've got a single built-in speaker into the phone, and it goes loud enough, but it does lack a little bit of bass, so when I tested it for a film, I did actually use Bluetooth speakers instead, but we'll just check out the audio samples now.
Wait for it.
Now when it comes to the software, it's running Android 14, and it's close to a stock experience, which I like, and then the OS does run nice and smoothly. Now there's a few pre-installed apps you can see here, and unfortunately they can't be uninstalled, but my advice is if there's any apps you don't want, just stick them into a folder and move it out the way. Now we've got useful apps though, like the Easy Launcher, the pedometer, the QR scanner, as well as the tool bag, and this has loads of useful tools in it like compass, sound meter, picture hangers, and more. So overall, it's a nice versatile phone, and one I think you can be sure you're not going to run out of battery with. And for those of you that want to check it out, of course, I've placed the links down in the description below. And hopefully I've covered everything for you guys in today's video, but if there's anything I've missed or you've got any questions at all, just ask them in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with the latest tech.